Good morning, all of you. In this section, we are going to see how matrix multiplication is performing using C language. In C language, matrix means two-dimensional array. It means there will be rows and columns. You may studied in mathematics that how matrix multiplication is performing. Anyway, I am reviewing here how matrix multiplication is performing. First point is to multiply two matrices, number of columns of first matrix should be equal to number of second matrix. Then only we can perform multiplication between two matrices. The second point says resultant matrix will be in the order of number of rows of the first matrix into number of columns of the second matrix. That is, resultant matrices will have rows same as the first matrix and columns will be same as the second matrix. In the slide, I had shown an example. That is, from the slide, you will get a clear idea how matrix multiplication is performing. Here, first row of the first matrix is multiplied with first column of the second matrix to get the first element of the resultant matrix. And the first row of the first matrix is multiplying with second column of the second matrix to get the second element. We will see how the C program is writing to perform matrix multiplication. In the C program, first we are declaring two matrices with maximum rows and columns, and resultant matrix also declaring. Then the variables for rows and columns of the two matrices are declaring. I, j, k variables are declared for loops. Then reading number of rows and columns of the first and second matrices. In the if condition, checking whether the columns of the first matrix is equal to number of columns of the number of rows of the second matrix. If they are equal, we can perform multiplication. Otherwise, we can't perform multiplication. Then we are just printing multiplication can't be performed and terminating the program. In the else condition, we are performing all the remaining operations. First of all, reading elements for the first matrix. For that, using I and j loops. I for varying rows and j for varying columns. Thus reading all the elements of the first matrix. In the same way, reading elements for the second matrix. Then performing the multiplication of the first and second matrices. In the multiplication part, we are using 3 loops. First I loop is using for varying rows and j loop is using for varying columns. In the k loop, we are finding each element of the resultant matrix. Before starting the k loop, we are initializing each element of the resultant matrix with 0. In the k loop, we are performing addition and multiplication to find the element of the resultant matrix. And in the printing part, we can see we are using only 2 loops. The row is varying from 0 to number of rows of the first matrix, and j is varying from 0 to number of columns of the second matrix. After printing each row, we are printing a new line character. Thus, we are printing the resultant matrix also. In the output, you can see I am reading number of rows and columns of the matrices first. If in the value I had given, number of columns of the first matrix is equal to number of rows of the second matrix. So, reading elements for first matrix and the second matrix and perform multiplication. Also, the product matrix is printing in the output. That's all about matrix multiplication. For more videos, you can subscribe this channel. And for online tuition of C programming of languages, you can contact me in the mobile number I had given. Thank you.